Hi everybody, welcome back. So I've had several people ask me about a 2023 planner, and I have created, let me think, 3 or 4 different ones, but primarily one white one, one black one, and like 3 versions of the white one. So I wanted to just create a quick video that would actually walk you through the planner and what all the functionality is and what have you, so that you would know before you would go and buy it from my shop. And I'll have that linked down below in the description box. I apologize in advance. I have been so sick, and this is the best that my voice has been all week. I've been wanting to film this all week, and today's really the first day that I have not sounded like I've been whispering. So I will hope it lasts through the video. So this is the basis of the planner. It's a landscape planner. It is a Monday start, because I work full-time Monday through Friday. So in my mind, not in my world, that's kind of what works for me. This is a dated planner, so it's dated for all of 2023, and this is just one of the white background versions with the cute little bees on the front. So just swipe once to get into the planner. So what I've done is I've really kind of taken a handful of things that I like out of various other planners that I've used. I bought so many, and this is the one planner that I used in 2022 for almost 6 months, because that's basically when I created it for myself. And so I used it for 6 months pretty consistently. So for me, I come from the Erin Condren world, so it's very Erin Condren-esque, if you will. But like I said, I took kind of some of the things that I love about paper planners and digital planners that I've used and kind of built them into one that works really well for me. I find that if I buy a planner that has lots and lots of features, I don't end up using them. And so I wanted to kind of find this balance between having something that is functional, that really does work for me and I use on a daily basis, but also has the flexibility for what other people might want to use for other things as well. So I know that a lot of other shops offer kind of some inserts and things that you can buy. I'd like to eventually put together some of my own, but those inserts could be used. Down here on the side, you've got, what do I have, 24 sections. So each of these sections, I'll just tap into one of them. So section 1 here, you have a spot to put the name of the section, and then it's got 3 kind of sections within that section behind that tab. So, say for instance, this is maybe like meeting notes or something. So, your main section could be meeting notes. Forgive my handwriting, guys. And maybe this is one-on-one meetings. Maybe we have team meetings, and what have you. So within each of those sections, you then can tap into the section and it takes you into that section. Go back to the beginning. I could go into section 2. And so that's kind of how those notebooks work, those sections down, the 24 sections down on the left side. And there's a lot of flexibility. You can use it for pretty much, really anything that you want. So within the monthly section, everything is linked. These black dots on the side here, they'll take you to the weekly page, and then all of the daily spots will take you to each individual daily page. And like I said, I have this laid out like an Erin Condren planner. So all of the daily pages, like Monday and Tuesday, are actually linking you to the same Monday-Tuesday spread. So we'll hop there in a minute, but I'll start with the weekly. So for this week, Monday through Sunday, and I have 6 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. And it's really, this is what works best for me as far as time blocking and blocking out my work schedule, and then, how I would put in my meals and all that kind of thing. So you get kind of the flexibility here to incorporate some of the widgets and things, or just do deco and whatever. And then within each weekly spread, you can tap on any of the days of the week, and that'll take you to those daily pages. So Monday, it takes me into this Monday, Tuesday. This is, you guys kind of see what I'm talking about in regards to, the Erin Condren inspiration. This is like the daily duo. So I really like to be able to plug in all my meetings for the day. Like I said, I work full time. And I like to, every night before, when I'm kind of winding down and preparing for the next day, I like to go through and write down all of my meetings, because it's kind of a way that it forces my brain to process what I have going on the next day. What do I need to prepare for? Am I prepared for it? If not, then there may be some things that I need to do ahead of time. And then I have a home to-do list and a work to-do list. Again, if you don't work and you want to separate this out, differently, you can just cover this work up and change it to something else. Change it to whatever works for you. That's really the flexibility of it. You've got 2 to-do lists to work with, and do with them what you may. So hopping back to the weekly page. So from this daily page, I can just tap back to the week. It's going to take me straight back to that weekly page. And you'll notice on all of the pages, they kind of have this same area of links. So you've got 3 calendars for every month. So hopping back to January, you've got your main, when you tap the tabs on the side, you've got your main monthly page, and that's kind of your calendar 1. You also have a calendar 2 that looks exactly the same. It's still totally linked. All the daily links work, all the weekly links work. And then you have a 3rd calendar. It looks exactly the same. And I use them for different things. So my main calendar is like my main everything. My home and my kids and family and all that kind of stuff. And then my 2nd calendar, I don't think I've mentioned before, but my oldest daughter is disabled, and I have some employees that I pay to help out with Bailey and, helping her around the house and all that kind of thing. So I keep track of my employee hours on my 2nd calendar. And then my 3rd calendar that I use is really to keep track of my important things at work. So any of my business travel, any of like program meetings, big meetings that I have going on, quarterly business reviews, things like that. And I also keep track of like time off for my employees. I keep that in my calendar too. But I like to have it separate from my home stuff, because otherwise it's just way too much to do. Or to have in one spread. So that's why I like to use the 3 different ones. You can use 3 different ones. You can not use them. For a lot of last year, I only used 2 of them. But now I've kind of come up with a system of how I will use all 3. So, and also one thing to mention is when you're in your main calendar, or if you switch to kind of your 2nd calendar, these tabs on the side that are labeled, 1 second, I'm going to have a coughing fit. Sorry about that. These are always going to take you back to your number 1 calendar. But within that calendar, you can then swipe. So one of the things that's really important to me is, I often need to like swipe quickly between months and be like, okay, yeah, in March, I don't have something going on. I could do that trip or whatever. But, maybe April, that's not going to work for me. So I like to be able to swipe between the months really easily and quickly rather than tapping around. So once you go into your 2nd set of calendars, it's the same thing. It's swipeable through all of that 2nd kind of theme of calendars, if you will. So that's very intentional. Also, within each month, you also have a specific monthly notes page. So this is monthly notes, and you'll know it's monthly notes because it says so right there at the top. So then tap back into my month. And I also have a cleaning calendar. So this is another thing where I wanted something really basic. And this is kind of modeled but after the Fly Lady system. So you have kind of your morning, midday, evening routines. and then you have your weekly, daily focuses, and then your monthly zones. So you can use it however it works for you. You know, if there are things you do on a weekly basis, like, you know, for most people, your trash gets picked up on a certain day. You know, that's going to be kind of a weekly task. And there are things that maybe you want to focus on a zone in each month and what zone that is. So that's what that's modeled after. One thing I should say, the weekly and the monthly, this is one page for the whole month. So where you have like your weekly morning, midday, and evening, at the end of the week, I then just erase that stuff and then start fresh again. So you don't have one for every week, but at the start of the week, I get a fresh start, and I really, really like having that fresh start. And that's what works for me. So that's the cleaning. And then the third little button down here is for kind of health and fitness. So it's your monthly health. You've got really meal planning. I use this for meal planning, where I have, I plan my meals for the week, and then I have like a couple shopping lists that I work with. And that's how I use it. That's not to say that you couldn't use it for something different. You could use it maybe for, your exercise planning or whatever. The same thing applies here. This is something where I plan it for the week, and then at the end of the week, when I plan for next week, I erase that page and I start fresh again. For me, I really love, I love the fresh start kind of thing. Take a little sip of my coffee. I'm going to really try not to make this video way too long. So then the second thing is actually a habit tracker. So I will put whatever, maybe one of my habits for the month, this is going to be huge, is 80 ounces. Oops. Oh my gosh, look at me. I've been so sick this week, you guys, and it is making my brain very foggy. So maybe one of my habits that I want to focus on for the month of January is water. I want to get 80 ounces of water. So I add that. Let me resize this. It'll fit in that little label box up here. And then, all my other habits will go across the top here. And then as the month goes, each day of the month, I come in here and I'm like, okay, I use my highlighter. That's how I track them. But you can use check marks. You could put the number of ounces. I mean, there's so many ways you could use it. And that's, again, it comes down to simplicity. So that's how I track it. I give myself a red if I did it, or actually I give myself a green if I did it, or a blue, and a red if I didn't. I don't know, red in my mind is bad. And that will visually, by the end of the month, you can picture, that's going to visually tell me, oh, I had mostly greens, so I had a mostly good month. Or if you're, somehow I erased that. It's a nice visual way of measuring things. And that's how I use that. Okay, so that's the health tracker. Oops, toggle mode. And then the last one here is a finance page. So this is an overall monthly finance page. You've got your income, what you're budgeting, what your actual was, what the difference was. Your fixed expenses, so when your bills are due, what the bill is, whether it's come through, I check it as paid, the budget, the actual, the difference. And then over here is other. Again, trying to stick with simplicity. Maybe you're working on paying off debt, so you list your debt here. Maybe you're debt-free and you're working on building your emergency fund or a certain savings. Same thing here. That's how you can use that. However fits your life. Again, it's simple, and that's the goal. And then you have variable things. So these are, like, for instance, groceries for me is a variable. I budget a certain amount, and it's somewhere in that range is where I should be. So that's a very basic budget page. And you have one of those for every month as well. So like I said, hopping into the weekly pages, you still have all of these same icons that you can navigate to. So you can access them from pretty much any page within the planner. And then from the daily page, like I said again, well, let me say, in your weekly pages, these two are sequential. So I like to be able to swipe and not always have to toggle in between edits and navigating. So, you know, I may want to, as I'm planning out this week, I'm going to hop back to this week maybe and look and see, okay, did I get all those to-dos done? If not, you know, maybe I need to copy and paste them over to the next week. I like to be able to quickly swipe back and forth when I'm thinking in a monthly mode, swipe back and forth in the months. When I'm thinking in a weekly mode, swipe back and forth in the weeks. And the same goes for the dailies. The dailies are all sequential as well. So these are the daily pages. Like I said, you still have all of these same icons. So you've got your 3 calendars here. You've got the 4 different kind of specialty pages for the month there. You've got your home and your work checklist, and then you've got this week and next week. So as you're going through the week, you know, you're sometimes going to toggle back to your this week tab. When I plan my day, I often look at my weekly to look and see what's, you know, what did I plan ahead in the week? What do I need to know about? Are there any to-dos that I want to specifically do on this specific day? I will do that. And then you can also access next week. So a lot of the time throughout the week, there'll be things that come up and I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to make sure that I get that done next week. Then I can hop straight to next week. All of those, again, are linked and you can navigate to them that way. What else? So you got Monday, Tuesday, they look the same. Wednesday, Thursday also look the same. Friday, again, is that same functional. And then Saturday and Sunday, I made it a much more kind of open layout, if you will. Just because, you know, for most people, not everybody, but for most people, Saturdays and Sundays tend to be, you know, less rigid with a schedule, if you will. So this is just a way that I try to make it easy, you know. From a intentionality standpoint, I would rather my weekends not be as busy as my weekdays. So there's less space for me to schedule things in, but there is space for me to schedule things in. And that's how I use those days. And then it'll just swipe, you know, again, you swipe and you're into the next week. I use the stickers in my shop to kind of, I go through and I'll make these pretty or what have you. Using the stickers in my shop and the widgets and what have you. And then in these kind of blank areas, you can use them however makes sense for you. That's, again, it comes down to the flexibility. Sometimes I like to, you know, track expenses in there. Sometimes I just want to track the weather. Sometimes I want to use it as a place to put notes. Whatever it is that fits your lifestyle and your life, that's what you use it for. So that's really everything in the planner. The last thing I'll point out is down here in the bottom left, you've got this little button, and this is just a index of all of your notebooks. So because you can't really label these here, you are able to label all of the notebooks, all of the sections. So they're all labeled with a section. It gives you a spot to put the title and then the title of the 3 tabs behind that section. So that way you can hop here and you get a quick glance of, you know, where something is that you might be looking for. And then the very last thing I'll point out is I have blank paper and line paper down here in the bottom right on this section page. So if you need to be able to add a lined page behind one of your sections, you can come here, you know, where to go to find just a plain lined piece of paper. You come to your 3 dots here up at the very top, and you can copy the page and then navigate to wherever you want it. I want to put it behind section 1, and you go in and you add it, make sure it says after, and then you just paste the page you just copied. It's really easy and really simple, and again, it keeps it flexible, and that's really my goal. Like I said, I really use this for a good six months. Really, since I created this, that's really when I started using it, and it's been working really, really well for me. So that's everything. That's really the meat and everything of the planner. Like I said, I have 3 different versions that I will be in my shop by the time I post this video. And really the only difference between the white versus the black, the white versions have a few different covers, but that's really it. Not really it, that is it. It's just the cover, and you can see the cover, you can see the trim of the cover. And then obviously this is the cover because first page, this is what you'll see in your file section of GoodNotes or whatever app that you use. So it's really, it's just the decorative aspect of it. Other than that, the black mode is black paper with the white lines, and some people prefer a black mode, and that's why I created it. I'm gonna give it a try this year and see how I like it. But all in all, that's really everything. That's the planner. I hope you guys like it. I hope that it works for you as well as it's worked for me. Other than that, if you have questions, please drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And if not, that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to run through that and try not to make it too super long, and hopefully I succeeded. And have a great holidays, and looking forward to 2023. Bye guys.